Welcome to Compassion in Cannabis, where stories of hope and healing come to life. In this captivating video series, we explore the profound impact of cannabis as a source of relief and empowerment. Join us on this journey of empathy and understanding as we shed light on the positive experiences and possibilities that cannabis brings, inspiring healing, fostering empathy, and embracing a future of holistic well-being. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Compassion in Cannabis. We are thrilled to announce that starting today, we will be releasing new episodes every Wednesday, bringing you the latest insights, stories, and discussions surrounding the world of cannabis and compassionate care. Each week, we dive into various topics, including the medicinal benefits of cannabis, the latest research and advancements in the field, personal journeys of patients finding relief through cannabis, and the advocacy efforts dedicated to ensuring safe access and compassionate care for all. Our mission remains unchanged: to shed light on the transformative power of cannabis and to foster greater understanding of its potential to improve lives. Through engaging conversations, interviews, firsthand accounts, we strive to provide you with the knowledge and inspiration needed to navigate the complex landscape of cannabis with compassion and empathy. So we invite you to tune in and join us every Wednesday as we embark on this journey together. Whether you're a patient just seeking information, a caregiver looking for guidance, or simply someone interested in learning more about the community of compassion in cannabis, this is your go-to resource, but always do your own. So mark your calendars and get ready for a weekly dose of enlightenment, empowerment, and compassion. And stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we continue to explore the multifaceted world of cannabis and its profound effects on the individuals for communities alike. So thank you for joining us on this adventure, and I can't wait to share this release with you guys every Wednesday. So let's cultivate compassion, spread awareness, and embrace the transformative power of cannabis together. So today, a poetic tribute to compassion in cannabis. In the realm of video diaries, we weave a tale, a tapestry of compassion where hearts prevail. Dedicated to patients, caregivers, and advocates strong, this poetic tribute celebrates a journey lifelong. Patient, oh patient, your spirit unwavering, seek solace in healing, your pain diminishing. Through the lens of cannabis, you find respite in its nurturing embrace, and the burdens take flight. Caregiver, compassionate soul by your side, you provide comfort, love, and a gentle guide. With selflessness and devotion, you ease their strife, navigating their journey hand in hand through life. Advocate warriors, champions of the cause, you raise your voices, breaking down unjust laws, fighting for safe access and compassionate care. Your tireless efforts bring hope and hearts repair. In these video diaries, your stories unfold. The power of cannabis is stories untold. Each frame captures resilience, strength, and grace, a testament to the human spirit embrace. Through tear-streaked laughter and moments profound, we witness transformations of lives unbound. The sacred union of science and nature's art, guiding us towards healing with a loving heart. So let us celebrate patients, caregivers, and advocates bold, for in their journey, compassion takes hold. May these video diaries inspire and ignite a movement of empathy, understanding, and light. In this ode to you, we honor your fight with gratitude and reverence shining bright. For in your stories, a tapestry is weaved, compassion in cannabis, forever believed. And now I'd like to welcome you to our first enlightening episode of Compassion in Cannabis. And today we have the pleasure of introducing a remarkable individual who embodies the spirit of compassion and advocacy in the cannabis community. Please join us in extending a warm welcome to our special guest, James. Good morning, James. How are you?
Good morning. It's good afternoon here in Atlanta, but good morning, Cali.
Yes. You know, James brings a unique perspective to the table. He's not only a patient, but he's also a veteran who served our country with honor, but also the founder and passionate advocate for #OnePlant and safe access and compassionate care. His dedication to helping others firsthand experience with the transformative power of cannabis makes him an invaluable voice in the conversation where we are about to embark. So, without further ado, James, Could you share with us a bit about your personal journey and how you became involved in advocating for safe access, compassionate care in the cannabis and for veterans in the community?
Yes. And first of all, thank you so much for having me on. I'm honored and humbled to be your first guest. First off, I want to just say a little bit about myself. My name is James Meisner. As you said, I am a Coast Guard veteran. I served about 8 years in the Coast Guard, and I am the founder of One Plant. We are dedicated to educate and bring people together and help push the laws in the right direction as it relates to cannabis legislation and freedoms. Um, so my Coast Guard career, I joined the Coast Guard in 1998. I've always had a relationship with cannabis, even before the military and before I started this one plant journey. As a kid and growing up, I smoked weed, and I think a lot of people did, and I didn't really understand the medical benefits of it back then. Um, so fast forward, I joined the Coast Guard when I was 20 years old and served 8 years, and went through 9/11 in the Coast Guard, and that
Wow.
was a rigorous time. We were doing patrols 24/7. I was actually in Alabama at the time, so as you can imagine, we turned in the Department of Homeland Security, and we were doing nonstop 24/7 patrols for a couple of years, and then things slowed down a little bit, and I was actually going to get put on a ship, which is what I needed to advance my career. And I was really excited about that. So the time was coming, and I took my vacation before I was supposed to go on to the ship. I was going to New Orleans to be on a construction barge. But before I could get there, the day before, actually, Hurricane Katrina hit.
Oh, man.
I lived in Alabama, and I was actually going to go back and forth to New Orleans from Alabama, kind of as a geo bachelor, just going to work and then coming back home. But this kind of messed everything up, and it took me about 2 weeks to even find the boat, and I had to travel from Alabama to Morgan City, Louisiana, and it's probably a 7 or 8 hour drive. It probably took me 24 hours to get there.
Wow.
So I did that for a couple more years, and as you can imagine, that was a very grueling couple of years, nonstop, 24/7, rebuilding the waterways from Texas to Alabama, pretty much. Both of the boats that were supposed to help us on either side were in dry docks. I don't know why you would put a boat in dry dock during hurricane season, but that's what happened. So we got stuck with about 3 times the workload, so it was nonstop. Um, and then it was about time for me to leave that ship, and they offered me some more land units, which wasn't going to advance my career. So I opted out and decided to go ahead and exit the military and try my life in the civilian world. Uh, in 2008, the economy kind of went to crap, and it was a really tough time for me for a number of years trying to climb out of that hole that I was in. So I finally got out of that, and in 2015, I decided to move back home and help. Well, actually, let me back up just a little bit. In 2012, Colorado passed legislation, recreational cannabis legislation, and I, cannabis was never in my mind until that happened. And all of a sudden, I started to immerse myself in social media and the internet to learn everything I could about this plant. And I was amazed at all the things I found that this plant can do. It's just amazing.
Right.
Uh, so in 2013, 2014, I'm on the internet, I'm in Facebook, and I'm joining all these different cannabis groups, normal this, normal that, and, cannabis, medical cannabis, this, that, and the other. And I found myself in the Florida groups a lot because I was only about 45 minutes from Pensacola, and
Right.
Florida was actually about to pass medical cannabis. So I was getting really excited about all this. And I was thinking, this is my next calling. This is my new career. And so in 2015, they tried to pass that and it failed. And I couldn't understand why. Why does medical cannabis fail when it helps so many people? It didn't make any sense to me. Um,
Right.
so I decided to move back home to Georgia and try my hand at helping out here in Georgia. And actually, in the middle of 2015, I started one plant, or I'm sorry, middle of 2014, I started one plant, and it just kind of grew from a group on Facebook to an actual physical thing where I was networking and I was meeting so many people on the internet, and I was actually going to events and meeting people there. And I met so many patients and
Mm-hmm.
really opened my eyes to what cannabis do for people. And I just couldn't understand how it wasn't like human right. It should be a human right. There's no reason for people to suffer with something that's a benign plant. You know, never hurt anybody, never killed anybody. So I
Yeah.
didn't understand that. And so in 2015, I moved back home. And ironically enough, Georgia actually passed a law that year called the Haley's Hope Act. And it was a law that would allow patients who registered to have up to 20 ounces of medical cannabis oil, but it only could be 5% THC maximum.
Mm.
That law never went anywhere. It was just an empty law. You know, they passed a law and then nothing ever happens of it. So that's my journey to get to the one plant story. And the last 5 or 8 years of my advocacy have been just having a lot of events, supporting veterans, pushing the narratives here in Georgia and states surrounding it. And we've really not gone a lot here in Georgia. We finally have medical cannabis here, and it's being dispensed currently, but it took 8 years from 2015 till this year for it to actually make it the street. So
Okay, so is it medical there then, and not recreational? Is it
again,
medical there?
yes, it is medical. In 2015, it passed as a, like I said, the Haley's Hope Act, but it was really empty. And every year since then, we've added to it a little bit, you know, with more conditions, until 2019, before COVID hit. They actually passed it to where we were going to cultivate it and dispense it, and it was supposed to be dispensed by 2021, but of course COVID hit, and that backed everything up. And then most recently, when they did finally issue licenses, there's been numerous lawsuits about these licenses because, of course, when you know cannabis comes to a state, then politicians get their palms greased and certain entities get the licensing. So there was a legal battle over who's supposed to get those licenses, and it's still ongoing. But the Supreme Court of Georgia passed it and said we're going to at least start dispensing it.
Well, that's always a good start, and that corporate greed is a real one, especially trying to distribute license. And I don't know if you guys are on limited license, but it's a really big money game, and it's really, you got to have the money to play, and that's the unfortunate part. I too connect to your story in the manner of when I have my card, I take preventative measures, but at the same time, when you meet a patient whose life really depends on cannabis, it really changes perspective because you realize their life is like counting on it.
Right.
Whereas, some of us, we aren't dying, we aren't struggling with anything within us that we don't really even think of it because it may not be directly in front of us, like out of sight, out of mind, So it is really amazing when you do start meeting patients around the world because no matter where we're at, our body is the same and it really has no regard to what state we're in. So this fight is just something that would love to see. As Can you tell us more about your work with One Plat and how that is working in the community that you are serving? Because I know that being a vet, there's a lot of stigmata up against this, and that that's still this area where where do we stand with our vets, and who supports our veterans? Do we understand the actual need if they did serve for our freedom? Which, that's a really big part of even today is like, we don't just have to acknowledge our vets on Veterans Day. It's really about, seeing every day we have a freedom that has been fought for. And even the freedom of sitting in a schoolroom, our kids go to school because we have that freedom. And it's a beautiful freedom all the way down to the freedom in the plant. I don't mean to get all off, but it's a real honor that we really start standing. And your voice goes far as the veterans are concerned in your area.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the veterans fight's been tough, and that's some of the things that we've added over the last 5 years as we got PTSD added and intractable pain and things like that. That veterans, not just veterans, obviously, but veterans are notoriously known for suffering from especially these things, and it's very important that they get the care that they need. And unfortunately, the federal government is not behind veterans when it comes to this, and it makes it really difficult for veterans and even active duty people to ever access medical cannabis because they're so worried about losing their rights and losing their jobs and things like that. And I just want to say that you're not going to lose anything. They've emphatically said that even in medical states, if you're a veteran, you're not going to lose your benefits. You're not going to lose anything like that. But the federal government needs to get out of the way. They need to remove cannabis from the schedule of drugs, and that would resolve everything. We talk about banking. We talk about being able to own a gun, and talk about veterans getting access to medicine. Well, if you remove cannabis from the schedule of drugs, all that goes away. It's done. I mean, we don't need any more legislation. Just remove cannabis, free it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree with that statement more. Until we deschedule this, we're still imprisoning patients, you know,
Absolutely,
and
holding them hostage.
yeah, absolutely. And entrapping them to become prisoners of war, being as even when you have to travel state to state, you have to consider where you're going, what you're doing, and travel safely, and hope that you don't get pulled over and get a blood test in some random red state. As a veteran, how has cannabis played a role in your own well-being and the lives of your fellow veterans? Like, what benefits have you witnessed firsthand?
Oh, it's been I mean, for me personally, it's been great. I mean, I don't really talk about stuff that I suffer from a whole lot, just because I'm in great shape compared to most of the people I know or I have met. But I've suffered from anxiety, depression, all kinds of pain issues. I broke my back. I've had surgeries. I've had issues, but over the last 8 years, I have completely gotten off all pharmaceutical drugs. I haven't touched a cough medicine, an allergy pill. I didn't get a tetanus shot when I stepped on a nail. And to be quite frank, I've been as healthy as I've ever been probably in the last 8 years as well. So cannabis has helped me a lot. I use cannabis and kratom, and it's amazing. It dulls the anxiety. It helps great. It's great for pain. Uh, you know, and I don't even consider myself a patient in Georgia because I don't have a card in Georgia, and I'm not going to pay Georgia for a card. I'm not going to go pay a doctor for a card. It's my right to use cannabis, and I'll continue to do.
And you
Uh,
fought to have that freedom for us.
yeah. So we've been doing veterans events also, and in 2015, I was introduced to a man named Joshua Luttrell. He runs Veterans for Cannabis, and they're out of Florida, and he actually lives in Georgia and is from Georgia. But I met him when I moved back here at one of the normal meetings, and he wanted me to be a part of this veteran event he was going to do, and he put a big, or I'm sorry, a casket full of pill bottles underneath the Georgia Dome, the Gold Dome in the Rotunda, and we had a press conference there, and it was eye opening to me especially. Ever
Right.
since that 2015 date, I've put on a veterans event on Veterans Day every year where we use that same casket, and we post it up at the VA Medical Center right in front of the medical center so they can see what's happening. And we do this in honor of the 22 veterans that commit suicide every single day. And it's been going like that for years and years. And this country has a huge mental health problem, and it needs to be from the federal level on down for sure.
Absolutely. The mental health part is really important. The fact that our endocannabinoid system, it's about retraining those brain cells and those neuro pathways. And it's amazing what we can do when we really start intentionally healing. Now, you also mentioned Kratom. Could you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I actually use that for a little bit. It's great for pain as well, but I use it for mood enhancement and like a little bit of uh, get me going in the morning. I take a little bit with some water in the morning, and I have a great mood all day long, and it helps me tremendously. I will take it for a few months, and then I'll quit for a month just to reset. I do that with cannabis as well, just to reset my receptors and kind of get back to a level ground. But
Absolutely.
Kratom and cannabis have helped me quite a bit, and I've even used some psilocybin occasionally uh, for mental health reasons. And it's a great microdosing psilocybin is also a great way to help depression, addictions, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing what all of our plant earth medicine can actually do for us when we honor it and reverend and use it for that grounding, that balance. Like you say, you take that time off. We're not supposed to be excessive in everything that we do. It's really about maintaining that balance. And, when you start realizing the patients who really are in need and everyone who's really needing the medicine, you kind of start really seeing the difference, which is what we're showing today, is that there is this medical difference versus the recreational difference. Do you have any stories firsthand with a patient or anyone that like really touched your heart or soul that you've seen a grand healing with?
Oh, there's so many. I don't even know where to start. Of course, the one that comes to mind right away is Haley. She's the little girl who's um, the law here was named after. Her and her mother are amazing, and if not for cannabis, I don't think she'd be alive. And there's so many people that I can say the same thing about, and these laws, unfortunately, I have no doubt have caused patients to suffer needlessly, and many have died needlessly. And
Yeah.
oh yeah, I mean Haley's one. There's a little girl named Supernova that I'm sure you're familiar with online. Her and her mother Barbara are amazing, and again, I don't think that she would be alive without cannabis. There's so many that I've met here in the Atlanta area. Yeah, I could go on for days about that. Unfortunately, it's cannabis is amazing, but it's not the end all cure all be all. It's
Correct.
great, but there are times where it's not going to work. And that's just the fact of life.
Yeah. We're not supposed to be looking to be numb.
Mostly use it, like for preventative, I think we would not have the issues to begin with.
Yeah. Preventative measure is really a big key factor. There are things that we can do in the now. We're not supposed to numb our body. We're supposed to feel, and so that's why it's really important that we do feel our body. Our narcotics, they're pretty good at numbing you out. It's pretty good to just not want to feel anything and to feel better, but there's natural steps that we can take that kind of help ease that, and being aware and in tune all the way down to what we're eating. Like, how, as an advocate, what are some key messages or initiatives that you believe are crucial to raising awareness and driving positive change in perception and the acceptance of cannabis as a form of medicine?
Well, I mean, what exactly do you mean? Like, I'm not
Well,
sure.
do
Question.
you think there's any initiatives or policies or anything that we could do as far as an advocate, or a key message that we could deliver to those who maybe are writing our policies or our legislator, or who want to create a change even?
Um, well, like I've always said, is with the One Plant United, I think unity is a big key. Is reaching out to people and uniting with people. And I think the second step is education. Educating those lawmakers has always been one of the biggest things to making them understand, what cannabis is and what it can do for people. And the more they get educated, the more you'll see their eyes open up, and the easier you'll be to reach them. Um, so I would say, out and then educating are two of the biggest things that I've utilized and seen over the last 8 to 10 years that I've been an advocate.
Yeah, and it's really powerful because you even share, like, there is that difference. And when we advocate, all of us have a grandma, all of us have a grandpa, we have uncles, aunts, we have siblings, and all of us statistically probably know somebody who is in need of a natural, a holistic path, a choice. And we need to consider that. So, not always are we saying, hey, here you go, you need to go get high. When the truth of the matter is, it's about advocating for those who need it. Those children who are literally, their lives are improving. Epilepsy can be assisted with the help of sublingual drops. They're not smoking this, we're ingesting this. These are drops. It's a form of ingestion. It's the compassion that goes into this healing, that really matters. It's the care for the soul. So even if you choose not to participate in cannabis, that's all right. Everybody has that freedom of choice, but maybe you can still stand and advocate for those who are needing it. There are children who need it. They need your voice. Those patients can't always show up. It does take those of us who are able to stand on behalf on the forefront of those who are in need of this medicine. And it goes global. This is a global need of compassion. And we need to deschedule on a federal level so that everybody has safe access. Consider those vets who have been fighting these front lines forever. We have a nation. We are one.
Yep.
We're supposed to be unified. Our country is beautiful. We're a melting pot of souls, and we all are interconnected in this galaxy that's spinning around the universe. So we need to honor each other and honor and respect one's choices are freedom, that they choose to heal themselves and take into their own hands.
Yep, and that's what it's been all about for me is when I first opened my eyes to the healing powers of cannabis and I saw what it did for people. I mean, you can't turn away at that point, and that's what I try to show other people, and including legislators and politicians, is like, if you would just look and see what this does and how this helps, then you would understand, and there's no way you would stand against it. And that's huge. And veterans, especially, I say veterans especially. I mean, everybody can suffer from PTSD. Everybody can suffer from the things that veterans suffer from. But being a veteran, I see it so much firsthand from my veteran brothers and sisters. Coming home and trying to pick up the pieces of their life, trying to find a semblance of a civilian life when all they've known is military service, for a decade or 2 decades, or all they've known is war. That's
Yeah.
tough to come back and try to figure things out. And cannabis is a great way to help some. Unfortunately, the vets, they go through the VA system, and the VA system pumps them full of different types of pharmaceutical drugs, and they become zombies. And that really doesn't help them in the long run. It ruins their mental health, and next thing you know, we lose another veteran.
Yeah. You can't unsee things. You can't unexperience things, and then we just want to just pretend like it's okay. This is a really serious conversation. If you are struggling with suicide or mental health or depression, like, these are real factors, and all of us can have an experience, and it's not a visible experience. It can be behind a smile. It can be behind someone you would never expect. So please listen and be aware to tune in and ask for help. There are foundations. There are people like James. I am here always. You can always reach me on a social media. I would never say no, because everyone's lives matter here. And, to our veterans, like, there's a real struggle and there's a real need that we need to acknowledge and care and take care of our elders. There's a generation of us coming up that aren't veterans. And, we need to help and give where we can see that we can give, even if it is just lending a helping ear or seeing someone struggle on the street. That gives you that opportunity to stop for a moment, see that person, because it matters.
Yeah.
What advice, James, or words of encouragement do you have for individuals who may be considering exploring cannabis as a treatment option but are hesitant or unsure?
Well, like I said, education, or educate yourself. Try to learn as much as you can about the plant to begin with, and get into some of these groups and with some of these experts that are in the industry that do help patients, that can really teach them the ways of cannabis. And I wouldn't consider myself one of those people. I've always said that I'm really knowledgeable, but I'm by no means an expert. I always turn to those who are far more knowledgeable than me, like Justin Purcell and Jason Cranford and others like that, when I have questions. And that's the key, is if you're thinking about using cannabis, then you need to learn. I think patients, no matter what, consumers, no matter what, need to learn about the products they're consuming. So you have to be responsible consumers, especially if you're a medical patient and you're trying to fix some medical issues. So get educated.
Yeah. Ask questions.
Legal state.
Yes, ask questions. We're blessed with this amazing blessing and a curse, but we have technology. And over COVID, it really gave us a time to tap into it and really run and expand with it. And we have this beautiful opportunity right now that we even get to engage as we are. So there's always information. You can always find the information you need, or find and reach out to somebody within or around or somewhere in the world that might have the answers that you need. Dosing is important. Understanding if you're fighting with a certain element, not everyone's the same. That question of what's going to be best for me, down to what strain, what cannabinoid do we need to take, what's going to be the best ingestion. Maybe I don't need to ingest it. Maybe my arthritis just needs some salve. Maybe I just need to put a little bit in my belly button, if I'm going through menopause, just some suggestions. There's ways to reduce the psychoactive effects all the way down to sublinguals. We're not trying to get you high. It comes down to a drop. A drop from a bottle that's made with love is amazing what it can do. One drop, not a dropper full. When you squeeze it up and it all of a sudden becomes full. No, we're talking 1 or 2 drops. We're not trying to get you high. We're trying to give your body the cannabinoids that it seems to be needing to fight the fight within itself. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. James, I honor you. I honor your fight and what you're doing. Is there a location, or can you direct people who might be tuning in, who might want to learn more about you or connect with you for more ideas or information?
Well, I'm currently working on a new website. We filed for our 501c3 going on 2 years ago, and I still have not got the confirmation yet. So I'm working on that to get that done. But anybody can always reach out to me on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, my cell phone number is public on there, so you can find me and you can call me. Um, you can email me if you want to reach out to me. I can provide my email address as well, or I can give it to you and we can give it to them. But yeah, it's been an honor to be on here. My anxiety punched me in the face about the time I got on here, so it's been anxious. I really appreciate it bearing with me.
No, it's been really great. And, along with these series that are being released, we're also going to be releasing blogs. Justin is going to be writing, and we're going to have others who might want to donate some writing. So you'll also be able to tune into Love Light Wellness and learn more about those guests that we have on the show, and to those who might want to learn more. So there's a lot more coming with this information, and we'll definitely be sure to put #OnePlant out there and keep everyone updated into this future of where you are going. So keep us posted as well as everything evolves, because we'd like to keep up with you. So again, thank you, James. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And in the realm of compassion, where veterans reside, a tale of courage and healing we lovingly confide. For those who've served, their sacrifices are great. In cannabis, they find solace, a compassionate fate. So through the battle fought and the scars on scene, they seek redemption where freedom convenes. In cannabis, a companion, a source of relief, a gentle balm, soothing wounds, it's beyond belief. So with each inhale, their burdens release, a sacred alliance, a moment of peace. The plants embrace a testament true to the power of compassion veterans renew. In cannabis fields, their stories unfold, a journey of hope where hearts are consoled. For those noble warriors, we stand tall, embracing their cause as we heed the call. And with gratitude in our hearts, we extend our hand to veterans, a symbol of strength in this land. Compassion and cannabis, their guide and their light. Together we honor their courage. So let compassion guide us in every step we take. For veterans and cannabis are a union we should make. So in their honor, we strive for a future so grand, where compassion and cannabis forever shall stand. In the realm of compassion, this is where veterans reside. So take this time and lovingly confide. For those who've served, their sacrifices are great, and in cannabis is a compassionate fate. So through the battles and scars unseen, let's seek the redemption where freedom convenes. In cannabis, a companion, a source of relief. So may the bond grow strong with every passing day as veterans find solace through the healing way. And in this poetic dedication, our gratitude resounds to the veterans and cannabis, a harmony profound. So let compassion guide us in every step we take. For veterans and cannabis, a union we make. In their honor, we strive for a future so grand, where compassion and cannabis forever shall stand. I thank you all for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Tara Purcell, and this is episode 1 of Compassion and Cannabis. And happy 4th of July. Let your freedom ring.